Hello, thank you so much for joining me. And look who I have to talk to today. I'm so excited about this. It's Sammie Ray, who a lot of
Hello.
you will know from so many amazing verticals, also seen in horizontal screens near you, also found on Spotify as she's a genius singer and musician. So, Sammie
Thank you
Ray,
so
please can you
much.
tell the internet a little bit about yourself?
Hello. First off, thank you so much for having me, Jen. It is so lovely to finally make your face acquaintance, to put a face to the beautiful name. But yeah, I am a singer, songwriter, actress, both theatrically and commercially, and also a writer. I've produced my own short film, which has done really well in the film festival circuit over the last couple of years and did really well on YouTube, which was a pleasant surprise to me. Um, but yeah, I have been in the entertainment business professionally since 2015. I graduated high school in 2014, but before that, I have done a plethora of musical theater. I started singing before I could talk, so music has just always been in my bones. And I started songwriting at the age of 13. And yeah, I'm so happy to sit and talk with you. I'm very excited.
So, starting out singing and composing so early on, did you have people around you who were musical and performers, or did it just come from you?
So the innate desire to just want to sing and perform, my whole family was like, there she goes again, like I would just jump into the splits and
Yeah.
sing a song at any moment. But I was so grateful that I call him my uncle, but he's more like a father figure in my life. My oldest sister's dad, he is an incredible musician. And when I started writing at the age of 13, I had mentioned to him, like, oh, like I started writing some poems. And then at age 15, um, I just kept telling him, yeah, I wrote another poem. I wrote another poem. He's like, send them over to me. Like, let's put them to some music.
Mm.
So he basically started mentoring me at the age of 15. I have so many unreleased songs, but we have a catalog of maybe 60 plus songs. And then when I turned 18 and I started acting professionally, I started meeting people that, were multi hyphenate
Mm.
artists as well. And so some actor friends introduced me to their producers, and I started working with just other music people that I met. And then in 2018, I believe, is when I released my first single. And then I released like six singles. I used to go by my government name as an artist. And then 2020, obviously, the entire world just was put in a snow globe and shaken up. And I started going by the artist name Sammie Ray. And that was very like divinely led because I was gearing up to actually make um, a music video for a single that I had released that had done really well. And so I paired up with a different producer to kind of remix it. And she did a rap verse on it. That's for a single I have called Picking Petals. And so we kind of remixed it and made it a little bit more up tempo. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Pardon
That's
me.
the world's most beautiful, delicate sneeze. Bless you.
Thank you. um, and and then before the music video shoot, I mentally I was just not in the best place. I was living in an apartment that had black mold in it. I was in a new relationship for the first time and just like super triggered from my first relationship trauma that I thought I had healed, but you kind of have to get into a new relationship to be like, "Oh, I'm super triggered right now. Like, why am I so afraid?"
Mm.
So it was kind of like the perfect storm. And then I was like, I definitely use my work as like a distraction from my personal life because I love what I do. But it all just kind of became too much, and God sat me down and was like, nope, like we're not going to do this right now. We need to get your health in order. And it was through that sit down moment that God was like, what would it mean to be the most vulnerable version of yourself? And I was like, well, that's Sammy. Like before that, people would either call me Sam or Samantha if I was in trouble. And I was like, okay, well, Sammie. And he's like, okay, I want you to introduce yourself and go into every room like that. Um, and then Ray is a shortened version of my last name. And it just reminds me and hopefully everyone that meets me to like shine the light that God gave you, because we all have been blessed with individual gifts and talents and things that we just enjoy that are a gift to others, even though it's just us being our natural selves. So yeah, I met this rapper slash producer in 2018, and I was just so in awe of him, and he was like, well, why don't you release some music? So I started releasing music, and then 2020 happened and I switched my artist names, and so I'm always changing things up. So it's kind of hard to sometimes I don't want to say sabotage my own momentum, but maybe it's my inner ADHD where I'm just like, yeah, but like let's go over here now and then over here and over here. So like I said to you, I want to get back in the studio and start making more. I'm so grateful that you're a fan of my music and that you enjoy my recent.
Listen, listen, listen to everyone.
Yeah.
It's like the best thing I've discovered since Verticals is your music. It's like makes
Oh,
me so
that
happy.
that makes my heart sing.
Makes
Thank you
me.
so much. That means the world to me.
And you know, it's really interesting what you say about the name because I'm like you in that Jenny, Jennifer. I spent
Mm-hmm.
most of my life being a Jenny,
Mm.
and then with work, it was Jennifer surname for my day job business that I set up 5 years ago. And then
Mm-hmm.
I rebranded myself. I don't know why, but when I started this, I was like, I'm going to be Jen. And now, like, everyone knows me as Jen. But also, I have the ADHD, and I just think there's something in it. And then you slightly rebrand yourself, and like,
Yeah.
this is where I am now. And it's
Uh-huh.
not like discarding the old parts, is it? It's not.
Yeah, because
It's
that version
just
of you will always be with you.
yeah,
And like, it's in the archives as I like to
mm,
refer to it.
yeah,
But each name, like there's so much power in a name.
mm,
And so how like even sometimes I used to introduce myself to like guys that I was like flirting with as Samantha. And like my close friends would be like who like where did that name come from? And I'm like, oh, like that's my flirtatious name. But then Sam is like just my everyday chill name. But also I made a short called Savage Sam, and a lot of people kind of know that version of me. And it's just like the defense mode of myself that I'm like, not proud of, but I've learned how to love her just the same. And then Sammie is the little girl in me that's ready to jump into the splits and sing a song at any given moment.
I love that. Honestly, that's just so interesting everything you said. So talking about that little girl, like who, when you were growing up, were like, I love that music. I love watching her on screen. Who were the ones that you were like, I want to be like?
Britney Spears 100%. Like especially right now, like with all the news about like who's going to play her in her biopic, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I visually looked like her, I would be doing every song and dance possible to like pitch myself.
Yeah.
Obviously I visually don't match the breakdown, but that's okay. um, but yeah, she was the biggest pop star growing up. And then also I loved Christina Aguilera, Pink, Whitney Houston. It wasn't until I got a little bit older that I discovered Amy Winehouse, and then obviously Adele popped up, and those two, oh my God, yeah, I would like fangirl if I got to meet them.
Have you seen the appearance that Adele did at the Brits, where she sings "Someone Like You"? And so the Brits
Uh,
are like they're the main music awards over here. They're our equivalent of the Grammys, and they're known for being, everyone's on the drink, so it's loud,
Love it.
rowdy. And
Yeah.
she does a live performance of "Someone Like You." James Corden's hosting, and it's James Corden, and you can hear a pin drop because you hear her heart break in that song, and
I'm
it is the
covered
most
in goosebumps right
it's
now.
the most
Oh man.
phenomenal live thing you have ever seen, and particularly that room. She silences that room, and I think she silenced the nation when that happened. It was
Oh,
just
I'm sure.
the power of music and someone pouring their heart out through it was just phenomenal.
That's what
So
I think is so magical about music, that I think even I take for granted sometimes because I'm so grateful that God gifted me with the gift of song and songwriting. Um, that am, I I started singing before I could talk, and literally I was born in '96, and so the Titanic theme song was like on every radio station. My
Mm.
mom said I was sitting in my car seat matching every note. I couldn't say any of the words, but I was like matching every note. She was like, "This is a little freaky," but you know, I I've I've found such comfort and cathartic therapy in being able to songwrite, but also to sing. But I've also had my own like kind of hang-ups, I think subconsciously, of being afraid to be as vulnerable as I know I can be. Like I have so many songs that I haven't released because I'm like, if I'm ready. Like Lover Girl Gone Savage, I wrote 2 years prior to releasing it.
Think of your little English fan needs
I
your
know,
music.
yeah. So now I'm like, okay,
Think of your
okay.
little English fan who wants it.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
yeah, no, definitely. I have a song that I'm working on right now. Well, again, I've written it, but I think it's a combination of like fear of being vulnerable and also just like kind of perfectionism of being like,
Mm.
like it doesn't, it's not quite right yet. Like I want to tweak it or whatever. And so eventually I will for you. I'm like, Jen, I got you.
I
Thank
have to
you.
go back to Brittany because I want to know
Mhm.
if you're a true fan. Have you seen Crossroads?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That was a
Of
test question.
course. Absolutely.
We
Yeah.
all love
No, I
dancing out,
wish
don't we?
I wish I could have been in that movie. You know what I mean? So,
But
and I'm trying to think of like any other, like Crossroads is her most iconic
yeah,
movie, 100%. Yeah.
I love that movie. I feel that movie had an unfair. It's Brittany. It's Crossroads.
No, I know.
And now it's got Taryn Manning, who is phenomenal. Like, what's not to love? So
Hmm.
that's my little plea for Crossroads. I also have to ask, what are your favourite Britney songs?
Uh, Toxic.
Good
I
choice.
feel like, I
Good
mean, there's
choice.
definitely like the OGs, like from her Pink background sitting on the floor album, like Baby One More Time, and I'm blanking on the others, but I like when Toxic came out, especially because I'm very aware of my savage side. She's not perfect, but I think that this is what makes anyone human. And when that song came out, oh, I just had it on repeat. Even now, I'm like, play it. Like, you gotta play all the way through, sometimes 2 or 3 times through, because the first time just isn't enough. 3 minutes isn't long enough.
It is, and it's just perfection, and it's one of those ones that doesn't end. And I promise you, there is a reason to this because obviously you like Britney. Toxic's a great song, and then look, you're going to love this. And then you play a character called Britney.
No, I know.
I know. How clever am I? I'm very proud of
Uh,
that. And Toxic is exactly the sort of song that I felt would have been played in the club and you could be dancing to.
Absolutely. Well, what I was so grateful for about season 2 was I was able to dance to my own song. And that song it's called Dirty Little Secret. And it's a toxic song. It is not, I'm not like, yeah, like,
Yeah.
yay for secrets. Like, not at all. But, I definitely have had my own journey with being betrayed, but also being someone that was not living as authentically as I wish I could have or even should have. So I have had to take that inventory, like playing Brittany this season for season 2, and she then has the secret, and she's like, I don't want to like betray my best friend, but also like I really like care about her brother, and like I really, she faces this moral dilemma of like, okay, girl code, but also like when love is there, like what do you do? And, I'm so grateful for Secrets of Sin and also like Mari's character. And she's like, no, like I'm not mad at all. Like it's fine. Like, of course, now we can be sisters. And it's like, okay, you never know how someone's going to react when things like that come up, but it's a very human thing.
So we have to talk about Secrets of Sin, because obviously we've got Secrets of Sin, the OG, the
Right.
first part, which
Hmm.
we have a nominated actress here, Best Supporting Actress, the VertiCast Awards, totally deserved. And then obviously we've just had Secrets of Sin 2 come out. So first question is, how did it come about you getting the part of Brittany in the original one?
So I actually have my original audition, which I'll have to make a little post and share that for sure. I love to do side by side, like audition versus like the actual
Mm,
finished product when you book it. Um, but I have a friend named Eloise who had done another project called Taken by the Mafia through Galatea,
mm,
and she and I met in acting class, and we help each other with self tapes. And she was like, "Hey, look into these vertical things, like um there's like a new thing," and I had never heard of them. I was like, Vertical what? Like a vertical short? What does that even mean?" I was very confused. And Secrets of Sins, the role of Brittany, was the first audition that I got for one of these
mm,
verticals. And the character was so fun. And my audition scenes for that, um, the first scene was the meeting of Mari and Britt outside of the club when she's like distraught. And so I did that scene. And then the second scene was when she meets the first interaction with the brother, and him like kind of talking down to them for being dancers. And then also I think there like maybe there was a mentioning of no, I don't think the whole everyone has secrets Mari was in there
mm,
yet, but it was those two
mm,
scenes that I put on. And yeah, it all just came to be rather quickly. And then I met Natasha and Bryce and everyone part of that project. And it was so divinely aligned. Like everything was really a gift on that very first
mm,
project. Again, you've seen I've done other verticals and love all of them, but there's something about that first one that we did where there was just so much magic made. And it was really like we have like a little group chat now, the three of us, and it's like we became like family, like we're very close, which I'm so grateful for. um but yeah, booked that in July, like June or July of last year. And then they just emailed us like, "Hey, we want to do a season 2, like, are you guys on board?" And of course we all were like, "Yes, of course, so fun." And to come back and shoot season 2, it just felt like a reunion, like a family reunion. We're like, "Okay, hey guys, okay, let's get it."
Because it's so interesting that you were saying, obviously, I'm aware that you and Natasha and Bryce are all really close.
Yeah.
And I think that's partly everyone picks up on that, because I think one of my favourite bits of Secrets of Sin in particular is that relationship between Mari and Brittany, and the fact that Brittany has this amazing ability to be like a mother nurturing figure when she needs it, a sister, like the best sassy best friend, because oh my goodness, you give Eric what he needs to be told, which
Yeah.
is just that the fact that there's no fear there, and obviously you've known her long enough that you can say it. Um, you tell Ben what he needs to be told. It's a phenomenal role, and I think basically everyone's like, I want that. I want Brittany as a friend. We're all like, I want that as my best friend. And if some of us, like myself, are lucky enough that I have got a best friend like that, have you got? I really hope you have a Brittany in your life.
Well, what's interesting is to play this role, I have had a very interesting relationship when it comes to making friends. I feel like because I change so fast,
Mm,
sometimes the friends that I keep, like, they just don't relate to me anymore, and vice versa. And so I think I also had a really tough time with just like people pleasing. So I would attract people that like I could feel or like would tell me that they didn't like me. And so I think I would try and fight for them to like me. And it took me, a lot of healing and a lot of inner work to be like, hey, if someone doesn't like you, that's okay. Like, not everyone has to like you. But I you know, just had this, everyone wants to be liked. No one
mm,
wants to be disliked. So I think I would end up trying to build friendships with people and like getting them to like me, and I would just be so exhausted, or I would like put myself through a filter that I felt like they would like me more. And also I have a tough upbringing in a sense where there was just a lot of toxicity. So it was kind of hard to show up as authentically as I wish I could have in the past. And also, I used to have a very toxic mentality of like, hurt them before they hurt you because I had been hurt so many times. And yeah, oh, which Lover Girl Gone Savage, like, as much as I wish that weren't the case, again, through healing, I was able to become aware of it and then change it. But I very much was not like I was not the Brittany friend as I wish I could have been. Um, and so I had to lose a lot of friends in order to become who I am today. And there's still a part of me that like mourns and misses those friendships. But I am grateful that now I'm attracting new connections and, people like Natasha, where I actually, she's going to celebrate her 5 years of sobriety on the 11th. And so she's going to be in town because she moved to New York. She's going to be in town. And I text her and I was like, I would love to celebrate you. Like, let me take you to lunch. That's a huge deal. Like, I'm so happy for you. And like, I even struggle with the word like proud of you, like, because I am proud of her. I'm so happy for her, but also like, why would I be proud of her? Like, she should be proud of herself type of thing. And I think, I don't know, I've just had it's just my own weird brain that I'm like, that's a
Just
nice
say,
thing to say.
I think you're phenomenal. Okay. First of all, because one, I think that's really powerful you've really explained beautifully how music is catharsis. And I think that's going to be really, really helpful for people. And I think particularly when you've had not the easiest thing, I totally get that. I haven't always had the easiest thing. And first of all, I want you to know, okay, so I've ended up getting deep here, but just you are insanely strong. So just and then
You
you've
made me
done the
cry.
work, and oh my god, the work never ends. That's the pain. I'm really sorry to
Never.
tell you, it never ends. You're like, I'm finished. No, I'm not. I
No.
found a new layer of trauma we're working through here. It never
Yeah.
finishes. Can I just say, I think you're phenomenal. I'm really sorry. I feel like I've gone way too deep on this, and
No, no, no. I cry
just
at
I
the
want
drop
you
of a
to know
hat.
how phenomenal you are and what a
Thank you
beautiful
so
person you
much.
are. And you are where you're meant to be now. And just like obviously that
Amen.
friendship and just the way you said that you walked onto that set of Secrets of Sin and it was just magic. And then not only do you do that, but you like gift that to all of us because we feel it off the screen. So just, I hope it's all right. And I'm really sorry if I've made you cry, but I
No,
wish
no,
you could
no,
see
no. I'm
in
sorry
my
I'm crying. I
eyes
wish I could.
how insanely strong and how insanely phenomenal you are. Just
Thank you
know
so
that.
much.
Okay.
I
Just
received that,
know
and thank
that.
you. Thank you so much,
So
Jen. I really
not
appreciate it.
only can you do all that, then somebody does a bit of dancing.
Okay,
Wow.
that
My
was
goodness, you are, I'm sorry, but you were very hot, you were very sexy, and you look awesome and you can dance.
Thank you so much. I was so nervous for that. I was just giving Natasha all of her flowers because I was like, girl, that is hard. I was like so nervous, so in my head, and like I'm a goofball. Like I was just like she has a BTS of me just like being a silly goose. Um and obviously I can flip into these characters and turn on the sensuality and stuff like that. But even when we cut, I was like, can I get a band-aid? Like my foot hurts. Like, just like, oh, okay, like awkward turtle a little bit.
Yeah.
But then, when it comes time, I'm like, I'm not me, I'm Brit. So like, how would she show up? Bing bang boom. But also I know that I have that confidence to a certain degree, but I think again, growing up, I had certain environments where I was kind of told to oh, like, you know, just not received in a positive way. Um, so I think I've had a lot of untraining to do of like, no, let that out, let that shine. And so I think, switching my last name to Ray has a huge impact of that, where it's like, shine, like, do it. Allow
Awesome.
yourself that freedom.
And then I have to talk about the costumes,
Mm.
because obviously they are phenomenal. And also, I mean, the wigs. Also, how do you make like a purple bob look good? Because you do. And I'm like, maybe I need a purple bob. I want one of those. Does that also help? I mean, most people say it does. That you put that on, and you're like, right, this is who this character is now.
Well, what's interesting is I shaved my head in 2021. I like shaved all my hair off and I started wearing wigs a lot because I have very thick and I used to have long hair like all the time.
Mm.
And so wigs would look a little alien-esque on me when I would try and do them myself. Now, the team at Secrets of Sin, we have Kat that did our wardrobe who, oh my gosh, she eats every time. Like season
Mm.
one, I loved my outfits, and then season two, she just came swinging for the fences, and I was like, so excited. Like I have a pair, like I wore a pair of fuzzy pink kitten heels that she let me keep. Oh, they are my favorite shoes. I don't even want to like wear them out in public because I want to keep them like as nice as possible. But they are like I used to wear those types of shoes like as a little girl. Like they had like the
Oh,
plastic.
so I know the ones
That
you mean. You get the little
yeah.
dress up set. Yeah.
Yes. And so I was like, oh my gosh, these are the adult version. And like, I want to wear them every day. Yeah. So I was the type of kid to like wear those to the grocery store simply because I could. I like wanted to be like a fancy lady. But
But
yeah, the wigs definitely help. We have Sarah, her nickname on set is Rah Rah. So Rah Rah would like give us our wigs and season one, I I grew up doing theater, so like I'm cool with a wig. I'm not afraid of a wig. But these ones were like so sassy and like each one has a persona of their own. And then especially being dancers, that's very much how dancers kind of work. It's like, oh no, each wig has a name and has a whole personality along with it. So it was fun to play with that in season one. And then I didn't dance season one. So season two, it was like, oh, my dancer is Foxy. And so I was like, okay, like who's Foxy? And then I saw the wig and I was like, I know exactly who Foxy is. Here we go. Like each wig, definitely Britt loves her purples and pinks. And so it was fun to um have the short, like blunt bob, the deep purple, and then switch over to the light, long, luscious, like lavender one. That one was definitely my favorite. But I'm like fingers crossed for season three because I would love to see what else,
see,
what else we could
definitely.
come
I
up
mean,
with.
if we've already raised the bar that high, it's got to be more.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
obviously, I was really excited about season two, and there was certain, I guess, groundwork that was laid in season one, in that we know that we've not been told everything about Ben. We've not really seen that. I felt that was quite like, okay, that's going to come. That's the obvious thing to explore. Well, what's going on with Ben? And obviously, that comes up. And, and then the other thing it was obvious to explore was, Mari's still running the club and Ben and all that. So I was like, okay, we're going to, see. I did not see that within one episode I would be shipping you and Eric. What the heck? Within
I
one
know.
episode, I'm like, I didn't know I needed to ship this. And now I'm like, if they don't get together in this show, I am not happy. It's amazing. Did you
I
know that that was coming in the script?
I did not until we got the script. And then what's crazy is Natasha kept saying that. And I'm like, yeah. Like, no, like, this is your show. Like, we're going to explore more about you and Ben.
Mm.
And then I get the script. I texted, and I was like, question mark, exclamation mark. Like, oh my gosh, like freaking out. And, it was so fun and I was so grateful that they did expand on my character because I was not expecting it at all. So to have that moment and to see what that looked like, and even when I watched season two, I didn't see myself in it. I saw like Britt and Eric, and I was like, so it was fun. It was definitely unexpected, but such a fun little surprise.
One of the things I really love about it is it's all very natural, because we know that obviously Eric is in a difficult place in season one, and that you're very much, I'm there for Mari, I'm calling you out on your behaviour. And then it's so well done in season two, where like obviously Eric's in a much better place and he sorted himself out, but you're like, yeah, whatever. And there's this bickering, and I love a good bickering and falling in love, and it's so well done, and it's natural, and it's never forced. And then the best bit, which I think you've already mentioned, is the fact that obviously there's then that thing of like, oh, how is this going to affect my friendship with Mari? And then obviously it's brilliant because she's like, anyway, this girl is a princess. Don't you dare hurt her. Which
I know.
yes,
I know. I
that
love that.
because the loyalty is to Brittany over her brother, and I'm just like, yes, it's the best
Yes,
thing ever.
I couldn't agree more. Because even when we were filming that scene, you can see like my reaction of being like, oh, like okay, he's gonna get chewed out first, but then am I gonna get chewed out? Like, oh no, how's this gonna go? And then Mari just pleasantly surprises us with like, you better treat her like like the princess she is. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was not expecting that. So I think not only is the writing like so pleasantly surprising, but the way that we're all able to bring these characters to life is so fun and playful, and like we get to have the little nuances here and there that typically kind of get lost on the speed at which verticals are shot. But the writing and then just this cast and crew is like, oh, I'm obsessed. I'm so grateful.
I love that. And then it reminded me of, and it's another favourite role of yours because, okay, don't tell Natasha and Bryce. Obviously, I'm putting this on the internet, but I was slightly more. I was like, I really just want to get back to Brittany and Eric. Never mind all Ben's issues. We know it'll be fine.
Yeah, you're like, right, we know you're gonna get married, but like, what's
We
going
know
on
there'll
over
be a
here?
wedding in the end. And yes, it should never have been in that resort. What were they thinking? Sorry, I was just
I
like,
know.
you were
So
like,
not them.
people, that is not your place to get married. But anyway, going off.
I
Um,
agree.
but you did this again in another vert that I have watched and loved, which is Straight A Pregnancy. Now, yet again, you steal the scene from a Ben because you've got Jordan Frank and Kirby Elwood, and they're Ben and Kelsey. But yeah, I got rather more invested in you and Hunter, Luke Dodge. I'm sorry, you were just the best bickering comic relief besties who then are just sneaking around together. How was it filming that? And I felt like you got to show more of your goofiness in that one.
100%. That was my first real short vertical, and that one was so fun because that was also Jordan's first time acting. Like he has done previous to that, like now he's doing a bunch of them, but previously he had just done, I think, another vertical, like literally right before we shot that. But then he rushed over here to come do this one. And he's like, I'm super new to this. Like, I'm still working on learning how to memorize lines and all this different stuff. And I was like, props to you, dude, because one, it's not easy. And they're just throwing him in there like, yeah, like you're fine, go ahead. And executed so well. But then also, it was only my third vertical at this point because I did the first two with Galatea. And so my third vertical, and the Real Shorts is a much more expanded platform. They really have a ton of different teams putting together their projects. So it was super fun to work and also unexpected because then I you just meet these fellow actors like the first day on set and you don't know how, like I was grateful that with Secrets of Sin, I already knew Anthony. So I was like, okay, hey, what's up, buddy? Like, let's do this. This is going to be fun. And we also had an intimacy coordinator, which made a huge difference. I highly recommend those on any project because you don't like, even if you are comfortable with the content, it's a professional environment that you want to cultivate. And so I, Luke was like, I've never done this. Like there was one scene where he's just like nuzzling my cheek. And I'm like, okay, I'm willing to go with the comfortability of my fellow actor. So I was going along with it, but also we had to solve a lot of our own intimacy, like not problems, but like solutions, just to be like, okay, how do we want to play this? How could we work this out so that we're both comfortable and it feels cool? But it was so silly and so fun. And that one, I feel like the storyline too was just so like series of unfortunate events type of thing. So I had a ton of fun just playing up the comedy of that and just the silliness. I think back to it and I'm like, yeah, that one was a fun time.
Then we have to talk about your two leading roles in Verticals. So obviously one
Yeah.
with Galatea as Piper in My Sister's Wedding, which
Yeah.
is more of a beautiful romance drama, I would say, in feel. And then Love Me Two Times as Emma with Jared Harper, and that's
Yeah.
obviously much more of a goofball romance. And actually,
Yeah.
you're kind of the straight person to the crazy stuff going around you.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I'm basically asking, are there any stories you want to share behind them and kind of how do you approach? Because obviously they're quite different feels as a project. Sort of putting
100%.
yourself in the mindset of like, what am I trying to deliver here?
Yeah, I think what was so cool about how starkly different they were, like you said, one is a drama and the other is very much a comedy. And getting to play the straight man in a comedy, I'm not used to. I'm so used to like being the cheeseball ham and like, yeah, but I'm so to then like be kind of the hard ass a little bit, I was like, okay. But it was, well, I'll get to the comedy in a second, but like to do the drama, it was so nice and like lovely. That whole team, again, I love the Galatea team. Like to work with them is always a pleasure and such fun and like ease and flow. And that was my first time ever shooting on-screen intimacy because I didn't have to do anything for Secrets of Sin. So I was so nervous and thankfully got through it. And like Tyler, who played across from me, was awesome to work with. It was still just like nerve-wracking as an artist to be like, "Ah, like I don't know," and like there's no if, ands, or buts like if they did the deed because like my character ends up pregnant, so I'm ah, like this okay, like how do we like my brain was just already, I feel like my brain already goes a million miles a minute, and it was like now on 4 Celsius drinks. Like,
Yes, I know that feeling. Yeah.
yeah, where I was like, okay, I need to meditate. Like I need to sit for a sec. I need to collect myself.
Yeah.
Um, but again, I when I got the script for My Sister's Wedding, I first time I read through it, I cried. And I told my director that and she was like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like it's so I think I had a lot of personal connections to the script because the mom having dementia, like I had a grandfather who battled dementia for 10 years. And my family at the beginning it wasn't as bad, but then by the end, I remember I would we used to have silly nicknames for each other. Yeah. He would call me a crazy bee and I'd call him crazy old man. And in the last couple years, I would try and use that nickname with him, and I could tell like he just didn't register what I was saying. So having those moments in a project where I'm like, "Oh man, okay, well, I know exactly where to draw from for this." Um but there's so many people in the world that have family members that are dealing with this that I wanted to make sure that I was portraying it in a way where it's like that wouldn't happen. Like it was like, oh no, like I've had a moment like that. Like I've had a moment where my mom dropped a teacup when like she loves teacups. Like what, she wouldn't do that. Like clearly she's just not in the state of mind that she used to be. So there were a lot of heavy and emotional elements um that even like the faint of like her being so emotional, like leaving the family dinner and she faints and oh my gosh, does she still have the baby and all this stuff. Like these are all very real moments that people can and do experience. And so I just because it's a vertical, I never want something to feel campy. There's one thing about actually portraying something that's comedic and like, yeah, you want to get the laugh. So it's okay that it's a little over the top, or it's okay that it's, not fully grounded in something that feels real all the time versus, at least for me, like if I'm telling a story, my goal is to make that the person watching it cry, laugh, or want to jump through the screen and like fight for justice in whatever way. So with my sister's wedding, I was so grateful that I can still go back and watch it and I'm like, yay, like that was a really beautiful story. And then to flip over and do comedy with Jared Harper, first off, his entire production company, they're a hoot and a half. Like they're so fun. They're very much like a family, which was so nice to like jump in and join. Um, and then too, like the extra fun part about that was that he and his business partner and best friend and co director wrote it. So, they were very open to like playing up more jokes and more funny and more fun. And I I think I enter a lot of, especially new jobs with people that I don't know. I just enter with a very like business mindset. That's just kind of how I operate. And then I was like, oh, okay, we can kind of like let loose and have a little bit more fun and like not be so like, okay, but like, what does the script say? Like, what do we,
Yeah.
So then to like jump over and do that, and they like let me definitely be silly during like the intimacy scenes with those over there, which I had so much fun doing because again, we see these verticals and I feel like they're always very like
It's very intense. Yeah.
very, yeah. So it was nice to be like, what would it be like to just like be silly and like have fun and like give a lighthearted story um in a new way. And I feel like we definitely did that with that one. And then the timing of release for that one was like right around the time that the LA fires were happening. And so I was hesitant to even promote it because I didn't want to come off as like insensitive to what was going on. Like this is my hometown. Like
Mm.
I had to call my family that morning and be like, hey, is everyone safe? Like what's going on? Who needs what? My grandparents were out of power for 5 days. So I didn't want to go on and be like, hey guys, like let's laugh at this funny thing and just be like obtuse to, the severity of what was going on. But I also was like, that's kind of the point of this art is like take a break from whatever serious, heavy thing that you have to deal with right now and like allow yourself a good laugh, allow yourself a good cry if that's what you need. And I'm so grateful and like honored that I have been blessed with such fun and lighthearted and like really like joyful stories to tell.
Because I think you're probably aware, but obviously that's something I talk about a lot. In that I think verticals are very much the stories. Yes, we know that there could be, things could be elevated, but that it's a reflection of where the world is now. I talk to fans all around the world, and everyone's agreed life feels harder. People feel less hopeful about the future. Woe betide you if
Yeah.
you look at the news, because you do not come away feeling better about anything. And
Right.
and I've talked to people in China who feel like that, and Australia, and Europe and America and South America. It's global. Um,
Yeah.
which is why I think almost every project we've talked about yours, in some way, it delivers that escapism. Obviously, Love Me Two Times is like that's just fun. Switch your brain off. But I actually think Secrets of Sin does that because it takes a lot of people into a world they wouldn't be in. But it's
Yeah.
escapism, and obviously that's kind of what the club provides for, Mari and Brittany, isn't it? It's a slight escape,
Absolutely.
and so that's why I kind of think people underestimate verticals and what they deliver to people, because it is, we just want a little bit of escape from the world. So I just say, don't underestimate the importance of all that work you're creating, because it does serve a really useful purpose. So I wanted to say that.
Thank you. Yeah.
And then now there's also, if people, obviously this is what you should always do in an interview, you have your IMDb up and I go, yes, I know everything's done. I'm Ruthless. Can you talk
Yeah.
about being on like the proper horizontal thing?
That was that was like, again, another divinely aligned, just like gift from God type of project. I grew up watching Tyler Perry, so I was so bummed out because I didn't get to meet him. That was something that I was like, if only just to thank him
Mm.
for that's an artist that I really admire and like aspire to be like, in the sense that he started by doing theater. So my inner theater nerd, like my theater roots will always be like, yes, like theater first, like do it for the stage. um, and that experience, what's crazy is we shot that in 9 days. So it was actually very similarly shot to how verticals are shot. Rather than, maybe 10 pages a day, we did 100 pages a day. So yeah, so every single one of my scenes I shot in one take, which I'm so grateful that I have that theater experience. I was like, okay, we have a live audience. We get one shot. Like, give it all you got. Um, uh, and then, going back and watching it, I am proud of the work, but also I'm like, oh, if I could have had one more take, I would have done it this way different. But we were very much on a time crunch. And he has so much content that he produces. I understand the speed at which he produces stuff. Like, he is he does not waste any time, which I really loved and appreciated, but I had no idea how much time really was not going to be wasted, because you get out there and you're like, oh, okay, here we go. Okay, next, great, we got it, moving on, next. Versus, I started my career by doing background. I was doing background for I was working at Paramount yesterday doing background, and it's me and 80 other people. And I'm very humble beginnings. I don't mind helping out other projects in that way, and um just learning and seeing how a different budget really even works too sometimes, where when people have that money and time to spare, they're like, okay, like, that was a cool take. Let's do it one more time. And you'll find yourself doing the same scene the entire day, versus shooting something like Ruthless. It was like, okay, boom, now we got to tell this part of the story, and we're, focusing all of the shots that take place in the entire season in this area for this day. Boom. Okay, and now tomorrow we're moving over here. Or now that we finished shooting outside, we're going to move inside and shoot everything that happens inside. Um so I called it like theater boot camp, but for TV and film. It was such a learning experience. Um, and to Another thing that's different about theater versus film is the order in which things are shot. So you have to mentally get yourself to the place of, okay, has this part of the story happened yet? Has it not? Like, what's going on? Um, so it's just different challenges that as an actor and an artist you become better at doing the more that you do it, but it's different for every project because you don't know the shoot order, you don't know, you know and unless you have the time to I just watched an actor, I forget his name, but he plays the older gentleman in White Lotus season 3, Walter something,
Oh,
Walter
Walton Goggins.
Goggins. Yes, there we go. He
Walton
said,
Goggins.
yeah, so he named like his 3 favorite actors. And he said that they all 3 had the same technique of like, read the script 250 times and then give yourself real life circumstances to embody. Which, again, as a theater actor, I definitely have done that. So I think that makes it easier when it comes time to translate to like film and TV, and, sometimes even commercial projects when I am given a fun character to portray. Um, but yeah, with Ruthless, I had a lot of monologues to do as well. So the nickname that everyone gave me on set, my character's name is Mariah, but they kept calling me Mariah Log because I kept
You can
having
see where
these.
that came from. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had like these chunks of dialogue that I needed to remember and then execute in one take. And again, with more takes, I probably could have been a little bit more flowy and whatever, but I was definitely proud of the work that I did, where I was like, my inner third grader is like, we have been training our whole lives for this. Like, let's go.
You know what's amazing about that is it just feels like everything you've done came together, because obviously the theatre background so that you could do the script, but also the speed of vertical so that you could cope with that. And it just felt like it all perfectly came together, that you were meant to do that. And obviously you do not turn down a chance to work with Tyler Perry. So
Right,
the man
100%.
is
No, I
king.
was
So
definitely great. Yeah, like God has set me up step by step, and hindsight's always 2020. And sometimes things happen, and I'm like, why is this happening? And or even like, oh, okay, like this is a fun new experience, but also I feel a little bit like a fish out of water. And then something happens 2, 3, 4 months or years even down the road, and I'm like, huh, that's why I had to experience that. Okay, thanks. You know?
So we've talked about things. Can you share with us any future little projects? Are there any hints you can give us of things that are coming up?
Um, Music, definitely. I have music coming for you, Jen. Stay patient.
Thank
Bear
you.
with me.
Thank you.
Yes, I have. Yes, I definitely have some new music coming for you. I like to release stuff around my birthday, which is end of June. So that will be my goal for you and myself is to drop at least one new song. And then I have my short film Savage Sam that I wrote and produced. And I have been working on expanding that. So I have my head in my computer to add to that story. And that's very exciting. Something that I really enjoy about what I do is the full aspect of storytelling. And, even sharing with you here, like, I have a lot of things in my life that I've experienced that I know I'm not the only person in the world to experience the things that I have. Maybe not in the exact, you know, uh, setup that I have, but all very relatable and real things that, it's just part of the human experience. But I love telling those very raw and real and vulnerable stories. So I'm working on expanding on sharing a little bit more of my own personal story, but definitely with a crazy, fun, entertaining, uh, dramatic twist. So yeah, I'll update you when that is ready to go. But working on that, working on producing kind of my own stuff, and then just staying in the audition world. I worked a 13-hour day doing background on set yesterday and then came home at about midnight and I had an audition that was due by 9:30. And I was so tired that I was like, okay, if I don't do this tonight, I am going to miss it. So I have to do this tonight. So then I come home and I like put on hiking gear and like do this like a hiking audition that I got. And then I was up until almost 2 just like editing it and then got it sent off so that then I could get a good night's sleep. Um, but I have, a couple other because verticals are so popular right now, I'm even like, okay, well, I think, the expanded version of my short, I want to keep in horizontal form, but I am open to, potentially jumping into the vertical world. And I just don't know, like, what kind of story I'd want to tell in that sense. Are there any stories that you'd be interested in hearing or seeing when it comes to verticals?
Oh, I think there's so many. Everyone wants a musical vertical. That's like that.
Oh,
Um,
well, hi, I
yes.
sing. So,
I mean,
okay.
it's just, if you're talking about what's going to go viral on TikTok, clip from musical vertical.
Okay, love that.
Um, but yeah, I just think, yeah, just anything that kind of talks more about humanity, really, and just tells the good stories that we all connect with. I just want to come back to Savage Sam. Obviously, this will go out on YouTube, and you mentioned that's on YouTube. Can you just tell everyone what channel it is, how they find it on YouTube? What do they look up?
Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel, which let me look up. I I think it's under Sammie Ray Soul, Soul, but let me double check that. Yeah, so my username on YouTube is at Sammie Ray Soul, Soul at the end. Um I also have the link up on my website, sammieray.com. And then I also like share the link in my story often on Instagram. But it is this one right here. It's under Savage Sam short film. Let me see if I can break this down here. I was like, I don't know if you could see that,
It's
but
on here. But that's what we want.
Yeah.
I think we want to try and, I think that's one of the exciting things about, obviously, you bring a whole load of new people into a world like me. I never would have discovered your music otherwise. But now,
Yeah.
because I found you through Verticals, and I think that's really nice, we can try and take the audience to, right, let's go and see a bit inside your creativity of your music. Let's go and watch a short film. So just thank you for sharing that so much.
Yeah, thank you
Um,
so much. What's fun about Savage Sam too is it's the first time that I blend my music and my acting. So my music scores the film.
oh,
So
well,
that's a
I'm already
fun
there, aren't I? That's my
figure.
evening
So yeah.
sorted. Um, Final thing as well, you did say, I really want to see you write yourself and do a comedy.
Okay.
I want to see you as the goofball. I just feel there's something there. I also feel we could possibly do something with you and Natasha as kind of like a buddy. I really think we're missing a female buddy vertical, but actually that's the
I agree.
Secrets
Yeah,
of
because
Sin
there's
delivered a bit, but obviously it was really more about the romances. Whereas, yeah, that's what we need. I want a proper sisterhood.
you got it. I love it. I actually have something kind of in the works like that, but it's not fully like fleshed out. I don't know what the right term
Yeah.
is for that, but you know what I mean. And okay, that's amazing to know and to hear because I agree. I think a lot of the verticals I've auditioned for less than five like villain roles and unless it's like a Regina George Mean Girls, like if that were a feature film that I was auditioning for, absolutely so much fun. But I don't that's like a icky, I don't can we see girls be nice to each other? Like can we see
Yes, no,
some
it would.
kindness?
I think that's key. There was one out
Yeah.
this week that it was great, but it looked like it was a positive sister relationship, and I got really annoyed at the end because then it turned out that one of the sisters turned. You're like, oh come
Right.
on, can we just have a
Right.
positive relationship? But yeah,
Yeah, I know. I'm like, can we have one that's uplifting and true sisterhood? I think that I love playing Brit because I get to embody all of the things in a friend that I wish um every friendship would have, but that's part of the contrast of life is having variety. But yeah, I think having a true stand-up ride or die best friend is such a gift. You asked earlier if I had a Brit in my life, and I lost my best friend to cancer when I was 14, but she was the first friend that I ever made in this world. And I I so admire and like I can still think back. I've lived half my life now, without her. And I still have so many memories of us playing at her house and I would say something sassy to like try and manipulate and get my way in whatever we were playing and she would just call me right out and be like, "You can go home." And I was like, "Okay, like that's not what I wanted, but also I could go home." So when I think of like a true, honest, real friend who's not afraid to like call you out on your BS, but also will be the shoulder that you need to cry on, like, sorry, we're getting a little emotional today. But, I think of her and, yeah, I think playing the role of Brit is such a fun gift to one honor her but also to show viewers and even myself like that is possible. Is it easy? Absolutely not, because even she has her moments with Eric where she's like, okay, I like this guy but like I love my friend more, so like what do I do? And yeah, I'm so grateful that Secrets of Sin is a storyline where the peace and harmony is found at the end, because some of the verticals, you see that betrayal at the end, you're like it's heartbreaking.
and I think that's why it's the massive success it is. And I just want to leave this here. We do know that these are based on books, and there is a Secrets of Sin 3. So just
I know, yeah. So I know I
yeah.
need to go and read them because EJ Lace, the author,
Mm.
I was messaging with her and she was sharing with me some of the things that happened in the
Mm.
book that didn't make it on screen. Things like Mari getting tattoos. And have you read the books?
No, I
Oh, okay.
struggle to read these days, but yeah. So,
Okay. Yeah,
um,
so I'm like, okay, maybe I'll have to go and jump in and read these books so that then if we are blessed with the Secrets of Sin 3, I can sneak in
we will be. We will be. We'll
things
make
from the
it.
book. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, can I thank you so much? You were just absolutely phenomenal, and thank you for bringing so much joy and also sharing so much and just trusting me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Wonderful, Sammie Ray.
Thank you for putting all of this together because verticals really have taken the world by storm. And I think you are very much at the forefront of all of it. So kudos to you. Thank you so much for having me on. It has been such a pleasure. You are such a light and a joy as well. And yeah, I hope we get to talk again soon. This was so lovely, and I'm going to be sharing. Well,